All right.
Well, here we are again at Comfy and
Conversation. We might have been sitting too long.
I think so. We've gone a bit delirious.
Okay, so speaking of sitting,
Yes.
I just, maybe it's obvious and it stands to reason, but maybe not. When you're a performer, you work really intensely while you're doing a show. Sometimes that's very physically active. If you're a dancer especially, it's extremely physically active. And then in between times, sometimes performers tend to just go flop. Now, some don't, but I do think maybe it's a good argument to keep active in between shows. Having watched...
It's all right. We'll fill you in on the joke in a minute.
Okay. All right. Well, so I'm a busy person. I like to keep moving, and I'm amazed that I got through my degree, because sitting still is not really something that I like to do. Philip, on the other hand, doesn't really have a problem with sitting. Oh, well, you do.
Oh,
actually.
no, I don't like sitting. It's just putting myself through pain. I don't like pain very much.
Well, which is ironic. So when he's dancing, when he's doing a show, he's active all the time, super fit, dancing his socks off. But then when he's not doing a show, I say to him, well, maybe you want to stay fit so that when you get into the next lot of rehearsals, it doesn't hurt so much.
Yeah.
And every time he hasn't, and every time
it
the
hurts.
first 2 weeks of rehearsals, which is ironic since you say you don't like pain.
Well, I like walking and with nature.
But see, my argument was that if you keep up a level of fitness, then you never have to suffer that degree of pain. But you see, I've let myself down too, because when I had Phoebe, things went a little awry, and then I got super busy. And along the way, I stopped working on my flexibility. And I'm really suffering for that now, because I feel it, and getting back, 12 years on, trying to get back to a level of flexibility, I'm finding I barely stretch, and I'm ripping a muscle or straining a muscle. So I think the moral of the story is, if you don't use it, you lose it.
Basically.
But I would recommend trying, if you're a dancer, stay stretching. Stretch each day.
Yeah, especially if you're a dancer.
It stands to reason, doesn't it? And if you're going to be involved in physical pursuits like musicals, you want to keep up a level of fitness that is appropriate for what you're doing. If you don't want to suffer 2 weeks of pain when you start
like me. I used to do that all the time. But I suppose it just came from the old school of, you're in work 1 minute, you're out of work the next.
Yeah, and you were never out of work that long.
No, I was never out of work for that long. But that's the thing. You see, it doesn't take long to be unfit or lose your... And see, the thing is too, I was never that loose in, in flexibility and all of that sort of thing. I went through absolute hell trying to do even a half split. It was just not natural for me. So it never really happened. So that's probably why I didn't want to go down that path of just putting myself through, torture, basically.
Yeah, but the same thing applies to singing and even acting.
Singing, absolutely,
Singers, I know if you go for very long without singing, it's a job to get your voice back into the groove again.
It's the same thing. It's a muscle. It needs work. Yeah. And it needs to be fit in order for it to be able to sing 8 shows a week. Or when you're doing rehearsals, that's even more grueling than the 8 shows a week, because you're there from 10 till 5 every single day, sometimes 6. And you're singing all day and you're dancing or whatever you're doing all day. So you need to be, pretty much on your game, have the stamina to keep going.
Look, I'm not saying do 8 hours of exercise and 8 hours of singing. No. It's not about that. It's just keeping the ball rolling so that when you do have to pick up, it's not a huge leap. It's not painful. It's not, for singing, it's not dangerous. I mean, it is really important that you maintain. Yes, you must rest. We must rest our voices, but it's important to keep that ticking along, so that then if you do suddenly have to rehearse for 8 hours, your voice can handle it without strain.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's our lecture for the day.
Yeah.
But it was just something that popped into my head, and I thought, oh, maybe it's worth reminding people to just find a way to keep yourself moving, and also there's a side benefit, because I think it puts you in a really good place to be ready for work when it comes along.
Yeah,
and
you're
feel
actually mentally prepared.
Yeah,
exactly. So you're always ready to sing that, 16 bars or whatever at the top of your game, not just, a bit scratchy today, whatever. You're always prepared for those auditions that come up suddenly. And you know very well that auditions come out of the blue.
Oh, yeah.
And they, they give you a day
Yeah.
to prepare yourself, or 2 days. I've had that happen. Well, we both had that happen so many times.
Yeah.
And, you have to be prepared. You have to be ready. So learn your songs, practice your songs, practice a few dance routines that you like, that just keeps your hand in,
And if going to class is too expensive, or for whatever reason,
Do it at home.
there are videos of it.
There's lots these days.
There's a lot of resources that don't need to break the bank and keep you rolling.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, that's all we've got for now. Join us again for coffee and conversation at Performers Hub. I'm Philip.
And I'm Kate.
Bye for now.
Bye.